Transform your personal and professional relationships with me, Dr. Janice Fortman, your relationship communications coach. Email me at drjan@drjanicefortman.com or contact me at 773-443-2058. Looking forward to be of service to you. Bye-bye. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Excuse me. I don't have a frog in my throat. As you see, I'm trying something new. Let's see. I'm trying and I'm educating myself as far as AI is concerned. So you got to let me know what you thought about that. That was my first one that I had ever done. And I thought, oh, this is exciting. Well, today is a beautiful day in the city of Chicago. It was nice and sunny and a little breezy. And a lot of people just cannot wait. They're saying, oh, fall is coming soon. But you know what? It can stay 60, 70 degrees as far as all the way to January, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, that's another thing. Now, I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking about me or anything like that because I want to bring on my very, 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 very special guest. Let me tell you who she is. Now, her name is Dr. Michelle Watson Canfield. She is a national speaker, an author, a professional counselor of almost 30 years. And when you see her, it's like, did she start at 10 or 5? She is also the founder of the Abba Project, which is a 9-month group forum for dads. Guess what? She is the dad whisperer. So you got to stay and listen to her. And her group is really focused on daughters who are in their teens and 20s. She also writes guest articles for journals and magazines. And she also has her own bi-monthly Dad Daughter Friday blog. And she has been interviewed on numerous radio and television programs. And I am so very pleased and blessed that she is on mine. She also has a best-selling book, Dad, Here's What I Really Need From You. And it's a guide for connecting with your daughter's heart. So, ladies, get your husbands in here, your fathers in here, your grandfathers in here. Because this is a young lady that they will want to listen to. She also has a podcast, and it's called the Dad Whisperer Podcast. And of course, I'm going to give you all the links and all of that. And what else is it? You know, when I grow up, I want to be just like her. She shares an initiative at the National Center for Fathering with her husband, Dr. Ken Canfield. So without further ado, I want to bring to you Dr. Michelle Watson Canfield.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Jan.
How are you this evening?
I'm doing great, but I just feel so cozied up next to you and hugged by you with all your kind words and your tone of voice. My goodness.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. So we are going to jump right into it. You are known as the Dad Whisperer. Tell us about what is a Dad Whisperer?
Well, that is a name that a dad who has a radio show in Chicago, Chris Fabry on Moody, One time he was interviewing me on the book that you gave the name of, Dad, Here's What I Really Need From You. And this is back in 2014. And he said, you know what you should be called? You should be called like the Dad Whisperer. And he said, somehow you don't shout at us as dads. You whisper to us. So then fast forward to a couple years later, where I was interviewed in my then hometown of Portland, Oregon on a radio program. And then they said, we like your sound. I'm like, I have a sound? And they said, yes. And they invited me to do a show. And they said, what name? And I said, well, this guy called me the Dad Whisperer. He said, let's go with it. That'll stick. And so since then, what I say to men is dads, especially dads of daughters, but these things apply, men, to all of your relationships with women, your mother, your sisters, coworkers, daughters, and men. I mean, you can use these things relationally, like Dr. Jan teaches you, right? With all relationships. And I'm whispering, going, Dad, say it this way. Try this. And then I say, one, don't give away your source. You get full credit. And number two, if it bombs, blame me and I'll be your fall guy. And they go, I like that. And so that's where the name came from.
So what do you do? You're the Dad Whisperer. What do you do other than telling them to say things in a certain way?
How about, to answer your question, because I love practical action steps, and I say to those men listening, how many of you loved one particular action figure when you were young? Superhero, right? Superman, Spider-Man, whichever man you liked, right? But the Hulk, whatever. You wouldn't have liked that action figure if they didn't take action, right? They did something extraordinary. And that's what made them stand out as a hero. Same for you, Dad. You don't see yourself all that special, or you don't even sometimes think maybe that if you bark an order that you've caused a meltdown because she feels that you don't like her or that you hate her, and you're thinking, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you think that was angry? You want to see anger? I'll show you anger. That wasn't anger. Why are you in a meltdown position on the floor, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, Dad, your influence, your power matters so much that a little bit goes a long way negatively and a little bit goes a long way positively. What you say matters. So, for example, what do I do as a dad whisperer? I'll give you an example. Nothing better than, let's not talk about it. Let's do it. Okay, so Dad, let's just say you look in the mirror this morning, or I have some men that go, I didn't look in the mirror today. I just put my clothes on and went out the door. But let's just say you looked in the mirror. Mm-hmm. How many of you men go, looking pretty good today? Look at that. I'm telling you, for most women, because I want to help decode your daughters and the women in your life to you, the mirror for us is deadly. We look in that mirror. Am I preaching the truth, Dr. Jan, or what?
Yes, you are.
We look in that mirror and we see, and it's almost like it becomes animate rather than inanimate. And we see every flaw.
Yes.
We look in that mirror. We don't like mirrors.
Nope.
And so what I say to a dad, whisper time, and I actually put this out here, not knowing where we'd go, but I say, Dad, here's your assignment. Let me give you two things right here. I got to look in my little. Any dads out there that have a dry erase marker or a pack of sticky notes?
Okay.
Everybody's got those. So I go, Dad, here's your action step today. Imagine that on that mirror, your daughter's mirror, bathroom mirror, bedroom mirror, car rear view mirror, that you write in dry erase marker or with sticky notes, you're beautiful to me.
Oh.
I love being your dad. How did I ever get so lucky and blessed as to be your dad? I'm praying for you today. There's nothing you could ever do to make me love you any more or any less. Those kinds of things. I've seen, Dr. Jan, I could think of one little girl, Brielle. I'm at her house about 6 months after in the dad's group. I give dads dry erase markers and sticky notes. Mm-hmm. She had taken the note that Dad wrote on her bathroom mirror. Do you know what it said? Have a good day. I mean, it wasn't even a love note. All it was dad's handwriting that stands out against technology. All it said was, have a good day. She moved it right by her bedroom door so she would see it coming and going.
Oh.
Dad's words carry weight. And in a way, dad was blessing her on the way out the door. I want you to have a good day. And this is a daughter in 8th grade who drinking, partying, sneaking out, cutting, like really in a tough, rebellious stage.
Mm-hmm.
And dad began to dial into her heart. And guess what? Through this practical action step, she started talking to him more and more. Not just this, but those are the stories, Dr. Jan, that just make me more passionate now, 15 years in to help and coach dads than ever before, because I watched the impact on their daughter's life that really not only changes the daughter, but it changes the dad. Because no dad wants to blow it.
Right.
Wants to make it worse. But sometimes men say, I don't know where to go to ask for directions. So I'm like, I'm coming to you.
Okay. Wow. So what made you get into this? What made you start this and focus on dads and the teenage girls?
Great question. So when I was 19, so I'm right out of high school, starting college, I started mentoring young women, teenagers at my church. So I start meeting with these girls, and I got to get Cokes after school, or, go sit with them in the car and visit, and they cry, and I just have always loved teens. Okay. And then as they got older, I loved 20 somethings, a little bit more complex in life. What do I do with my life? And, do I get married this early, and kind of more complexity. So then I ended up going through my own counseling journey for a lot of, abuse as a young girl from my grandfather, and an eating disorder, because all that stuff inside just messed with my head and my heart, and, had an eating disorder through most of my 20s, binge eating disorder. So I gained a lot of weight, and then I felt like just the ugliest woman ever. No wonder no man wants me, all that kind of stuff. And I think so many times, dads, you may look at your daughter and say, she must not have any of those negative thoughts about herself. She's beautiful. But most of the time, that's not how we see ourselves, right? That's why the mirror thing is so important. Oh, I'm going to totally interrupt my story with giving dads who are on the road an idea that I got from another man. Okay. This was a dad who travels for a living. And he said, I got an away game now. I took what you said and I travel for a living. I write on the mirror in the hotel room. And then I take a picture and send it to my college daughter of what I wrote. Oh. How creative is that?
Okay.
Right. Dads telling other dads what to do. So back to my story. So now I'm coaching, if you will, mentoring women. I'm dealing with my own stuff. So at the end of my 30s, I'm like, I've had so much healing now. I got to go to school and get more letters after my name because I want to do this for a living. Okay. So then I then have a master's, and I later, once I'm in private practice, I decide to go get some more letters like you and become a doctor in psychology. And so what I'm telling you that for, dads, is that I've been in practice now for a number of years, about a decade, and I'm working a lot with teens and 20-somethings. And so often I was hearing stories of either a dad wound, a wound from their father, or wounds, plural, or a void, like dad not very dialed in, or divorce, and dad went that way and I'm with mom, and just these gaping issues and wounds, dad issues, right? And so when I was 49, never been married, I only got married 5 years ago at 60 for the first time. So this is all.
Hear that, ladies? Hear that?
She about come on
for the first time at 60. So, ladies, just an aside. If you didn't see last week's show, you need to watch it. Go on YouTube. You need to watch it so you can be like Dr. Michelle.
Because I'll tell you the story about the book in a minute. But so 49, again, seeing the dad issues. And one day I was reading in Luke chapter 1, verse 17, just reading in my Bible at Christmas time, December of 2009. And I read we've all heard of John the Baptist, cousin of Jesus. And so his dad, before he was born, Zechariah, gets this message from God that his son's going to help turn the hearts, not the heads, of fathers to their children. And literally, as I'm talking to you now, I hear this like almost audible, but just in my head, I hear, Michelle, that's what I want you to do. And I'm like, okay, clearly I don't have a way with men to be helping fathers. And clearly I'm not a father. You got the wrong girl. But how many of you dads have disqualified yourself from being a dad who dials into your daughter's heart? Maybe you say, my addictions, my mistake, my affair, my workaholism, my, and on it goes, right? Where you say, I'm not qualified. But I'm like, she only has one biological dad, and it's you. And some of you are stepdads or father figures or grandfathers raising your granddaughters or your kids. And I'm saying you all, if you're a man, you can be a father figure, a surrogate father, a stepdad, a bio dad. We as women need healthy men in our lives that wrap your arms around us no matter what and show us what good men look like. Not perfect men, but real good men. And so I ended up at that time going, okay, I'm hearing, Michelle, that's what I want you to do. And I go, okay. 2 days later, I'm blow drying my hair, random detail, and just hear the name, the Abba Project. And I was like, Abba means daddy in Aramaic, and men love a project, hence the name. So the next month, January of 10, I emailed 11 dads whose daughters were either in their teens or their 20s. And I just said, hi, I'm introducing myself. You probably heard of me. Email. How would you like to join me once a month for 6 months and see if there's a change in you, your daughter, or your relationship? Dr. Jan, 10 of the 11 dads said we're in. And I've had people say, Michelle, men don't add more to an already full plate unless there's a need.
Correct.
Felt need. So men, they all started coming, which, by the way, we ended up going a year. I had no curriculum. It was blowing me away. By the way, my one holdout dad did my second group, just FYI. So then that became this first book, which y'all see right here, the foreword. This is the guy I ended up marrying who wrote the foreword to my book back in 2014. And I knew his wife. She went to heaven in 2019. She died after a pretty brutal neurological disease. And he wrote, his name's on my cover back then. And then
wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. So he wrote the foreword to your book. You weren't even married.
Nope. Not even any. I always have clear boundaries with men. So nothing. Neither of us were like, what? There you go. He founded the National Center for Fathering in 1990. And so he had been a champion of me going, there's not many women in the fathering space.
Yeah.
So he loved what I was doing. We wrote the foreword. Go figure. So we had stayed in touch, and he would recommend me to different men's conferences or whatever, and I got to know his wife in Kansas City. And so when she died, he didn't know if he was going to get married again. And I'm not lying to you. God told me to marry him.
Okay.
That fall, in all December of 2019, I said, I know what's conceived in me, just like Mary, the mother of Jesus. Remember, she got pregnant, immaculate conception. And I prayed the same thing that she prayed out of Matthew 1. What's conceived in me is of the Holy Spirit. Now wake Joseph up, Ken, and tell him to come take Mary home as his wife. Called me out of the blue, January 1st of 20. You started your show in 20. COVID hit in 20. This is right before that. And he said, how would you like to move from professional to personal? I just realized I'm in love with you and want to marry you. That was his pickup line.
Wow.
And I said, God already told me to marry you, so my answer is yes.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, women, don't settle. There's too many single women that arrange their own marriage instead of letting God arrange. And you try to help God out and be a little Holy Spirit Junior, little helper. It doesn't go good. It doesn't go good. I'm telling you, my dad used to say, Michelle, you skip the first marriage and you just wait for the second. The second was your first, because I just waited. And people, I've literally had someone say to my face, oh, like I'm like 50. And they're like, oh, you've never been married? I'm like,
Oh, of course.
no. And here's the line to my face. Really? You seem so normal. To my face.
What?
I know. So sadly, we're in a culture where if you're not married, the assumption is something's wrong with you. And I think it's, why don't we just hold out and know ourselves? And I go, wait for a man whose vision lines up with yours.
Oh my
It's so
goodness.
much easier. I already go, does he love his mama? That's a given. Does he love
Oh,
God? That's a given. You want that. But do your visions line up? Wait for the one that everyone around you bears witness to it and goes, yep. Because my 3 best friends, when I said, you're never going to believe this. You're never going to believe this. God just told me, like, he wants me to marry Ken. I mean, we got off the phone one day, only 6 weeks after his wife had died. And I wrote, and I love this. Someone put, there's hope. I'm living proof there's hope. And I'm telling you, in my vows, I said, Ken, you were worth the wait. It's been so easy to be married for the most part. I mean, we're human and stuff. But you guys, I now have my 19th grandbaby on the way.
wow.
So I went,
19?
God knew this big tribe that's still growing
Okay.
needed a seasoned woman with a big capacity, a big energy. And that, I mean, last weekend, just a few days ago, I hosted 22 of our family on the fly the night before. I don't cook. I didn't cook before that. I'm like, okay, I got the German pancakes and the strawberries and the whipped cream and the eggs and the turkey bacon and the fruit and me, because I'm telling you, it's worth the wait. You think, oh, it's better to be married than to burn or whatever. No, there's too many people miserable in marriage because I think they didn't wait. And I don't mean to disparage any of you that
Yeah.
are in tough places. Of course, I mean, we all, we all are living a different life. But if you're not married and you're believing the lie that you're not quality, that you're not worth, I used to say, I can't hold a man's gaze. And my dad, he definitely has dialed into my heart. And, we would shop on Monday nights and go to Costco and this other little grocery store, get groceries together. It was our Monday night date thing. Every Christmas, here's a practical one for dads.
Okay.
My dad grew up on the south side of Chicago, was in gangs from the time he was 7. Different last names among the kids. Not much good growing up modeling.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts learning from other dads. Well, what do you do? What do you do? He goes to a men's retreat. And some of them said, well, think about your kids. What do they like? And he was like, well, I have daughters. I think daughters like perfume. So my dad started this tradition. We did this for at least 20 years. He said, when you get married, your husband has to do it. I said, little did you know you're going to have to do this for so many years for me. I was 60, right? But here's a practical action step, dads, for you to be the hero you want to be and the hero your daughter needs you to be. Here's a practical action step is what my dad did is at Christmas. So it was usually 23rd, 24th, right in there. He would take his single daughters. So for a long time, it was just me to Nordstrom. And we would go to the perfume section. And I got to choose whatever perfume I wanted, one a year. And then we took lots of pictures, lots of selfies. And you know what would usually happen? Because you have to try them on to see how they smell on your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, that's an investment anymore. The most expensive one my dad ever bought me, $185 for a perfume. I mean, we're in the wrong business. I mean, how do you charge that and get away with it? But you guys, I've never forgotten the amount. And it was the most my dad ever spent. I went, that was a gift that keeps on giving because I still have some of those 3 years, 4 years later. I mean, all that scent every time I would wear it. First time into the radio station, I wear the perfume my dad got me. What am I telling myself? This is my dad's love for me in this scent. It's a gift that keeps on giving. And he would sit in the department store right there in Nordstrom, trying them on. And all these other women would come up going, I wish my dad would do this.
Wow. Yes.
Right? So dad, you can make an annual tradition. You probably have to save all year for that. But it's something I've never forgotten. And I have dads around the country now that do this with granddaughters. I think one of my friends from high school, Jim, did this with his granddaughter, then started it with her because he only had 3 sons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, that would be a really special way to connect with your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
If there feels like there's been distance even, not to buy her love, of course, but
Yeah.
to say, you know what, I want to learn how to dial into your heart with more precision. And that's why, in this one, I write to dads about, hey, if you don't know what your daughter's wired like, I've had
Yeah.
dads that have like bought it with their daughter. I think I can think of one, Katie in her 20s. She was one of my counseling clients, and her dad, they would both read, like they're both about 3 pages is all per
Okay.
chapter. So they'd
Okay.
read like a 3 pager and he'd go, really? One of the greatest gifts you can give your daughter is to affirm her through writing. I just like popped one.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he's like, really? Like you would want something I've written? She's like, yes. He goes, huh? Well, you never told me that. She goes, I didn't think to tell you. So see, then it's like giving dads information about your daughter, her body image, her, about dating or about sex or sexting, which is why then I followed it up with this one, Let's Talk, conversation starters for dads and daughters with 60 topics. So dad, you can take your daughter out and go, okay, which one do you want to do this time on our dad-daughter date? She might say, you know what? I want to do one on body image or self-esteem. And then the questions are right there, Dad. So you can't do it wrong. I've been traveling now from my planet of Venus to Mars
Okay.
for 15 years. So I'm bilingual now. I speak my native tongue of Venusian and I speak some Martian now. Do a little bit of both.
Okay.
And so what I say to dads is, you know what I've discovered from traveling to Mars? Men would rather often do nothing than do it wrong.
Because I think right. Uh, I think sometimes with dads, they don't know what to do, what to say
Mm-hmm.
for fear, especially a teenage girl,
Yeah.
for fear that it's like, oh, Dad, I don't want to talk to you about that. But wait, I have a text came in. It's the text is, what is the hardest thing you had to convince men to do?
Oh, I off the top of my head, I got it right here, ready to go. Drop your anger.
Where is okay? So when you say drop your anger, where is the anger? When you say
Okay.
drop your anger, where
So
is the anger coming from, and what anger?
most men, and you can talk too from your experience, Dr. Jan, but more often than not, I've had daughters come in with broken hearts over dad's anger than anything else. And so dad often will say that, like I said earlier, wasn't me angry. Why are you falling apart or making a mountain out of a molehill? But dad, what you have to remember is that even if she gives you her anger, you're the adult. You're the one modeling to her how to handle stress, how to handle disappointment, how to handle things when they don't go the way you want. And so your daughter's learning from you. More is caught than what? Taught. And so if you can drop your anger, you will do more to reach her heart than anything. In fact, I think it was in 22, I was interviewed on a men's podcast. And when they said, they asked a question very similar to you. And I said, I got 3 words for you, men. Drop your anger. And I'll tell you what I said. It went viral.
Okay.
3.4 million views, which I've never had before or since. And it tells me this resonates as a theme. So I love that question. Like if you were to, it's drop your anger, dads. And not just as one dad told me who was 60 years old said, I realized my whole life I've been controlling my anger. I never thought, what does it look like to actually drop it? It means it doesn't come in the room because that's your stuff, which I'll tell you about that in a minute. But let me just finish the story. Is what I said on this podcast. It was 53 seconds. I don't think it was even a minute. Went viral. Here's what I said is drop your anger because dad, your anger will destroy her spirit. Your anger will make her believe she's unlovable and not worth loving. Your anger will shut her down and make her stop trying. Your anger will destroy the core of who she is. So dad, make a commitment now to never, with your mouth, to never respond in anger. And if you hit a high number, walk away and come back later. You'll never regret responding once you're cooled down. That went viral. Can you believe it? But
Wow.
here's what I'm telling you, man. I'm never going to give you an idea without telling you how to achieve it,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm not going to set you up to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember when when your son was little, do you ever do the timeout thing?
Of course.
How did you decide how long to do the timeout? We all know it. If you're 3 years old, how long's your timeout?
Not that long.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're 5 years old, 5 minutes, kind of a rule of thumb. So here's what I'm saying to you, Dad. You're 53 years old. You need a 53-minute timeout to
Okay.
cool the mid part of your brain. Because here's the prefrontal cortex, we call it. This frontal lobe is where we think, have good reasoning and good judgment. We make good decisions when this part of our brain is online, but it goes offline when this part of our brain where we have emotion is on fire. It floods this part and we go offline. That's where rage happens. That's where sometimes dads and moms, I had a counseling client today where the mom said, I don't remember the things my daughter's telling me I said at 13, that I hated her and stuff. She goes, what kind of today a parent said, I feel like I was Cruella de Vil. Like, I don't remember this. And I said, because this part of your brain went offline. So
Wow.
what happens to all of us, myself included, anger is one of those defaults for me. Anger is not a hard emotion for me to connect with. So I feel you. If you're a dad that goes, yeah, I have an issue with anger, give yourself a timeout as many minutes as your age to calm your nervous system. When everything's in high gear, you go to fight, flight, you're out of there, freeze,
Mm-hmm.
or fawn. That's the one where we just collapse and we just kind of melt and just acquiesce, give in to whatever. So a way to calm your own brain,
Mm-hmm.
you can do this one. It's a hold that just kind of calms your whole body. We call it UFO hold, frontal, unwinding frontal, occipital hold. It's just take breaths, 4 in, 6 out.
Okay.
These kinds of things, go drive around the block. And I mean, in dad, here's why I talk to dads about these practical things.
Do whatever you can do
Yep.
to not like you say, to get rid of that anger before you speak or communicate with your daughter. Okay, got it. Another text. How do you get men to conquer their fear of failure in dealing with certain issues with their daughters?
Did a dad write that?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know.
Don't know.
I
Okay, I'm
just
guessing a dad wrote
telephone
that.
number and yeah. So
Okay.
probably it sounds like it.
Okay, so here's what both you and I are saying right now is we applaud a dad that admits he has fear. Right there, you are already setting yourself, to me, up as a hero for me and Dr. Jan, that you would even admit you have fear. So well done. I think it's more easy than not for men to cover and buffer and go, I'm not afraid, because that's weakness and you don't admit fear and right. And yet to say, no, actually, I've got some fears here. You're already further ahead than a lot of men. So well done on that one. I'm going to go back to something I started to say a little bit ago that I just want to complete this thought before I answer that. And that is that in my travels from my planet to Mars, I've discovered that men would often rather do nothing, as I said, than do it wrong. Because you're smart enough to go, I'm making it worse. And that's a dad that goes, I'm afraid to go in that room right now. I'm going to get my head bit off. Like, you're smart enough to go, I think I'm going to send mom in.
Yeah.
But the research shows that every area of your child's life, and I'll say daughters specifically, is better and stronger when she feels connected to her dad, not to mom. Sorry, moms. But there's research out there, again, about attunement and attachment for sure to a mom. But do you want to hear what the research shows for dad?
Yeah.
Better grades in school, more likely to finish high school and attend college, healthier weights, a better self-esteem, healthier weight, like I said, and even body image because of attachment, connection to dad, which is a heart word, not a head word, right? So she also will have healthier relationships with men, more likely to find steady employment. She will have better athletic achievement and academic achievement, more pro-social empathy, and dad, you're going to love this one. She will delay her sexual debut by a feeling of connection to you. Also, 80% less likely to end up in jail, a life of crime, doing risky behaviors. Dad, you and your presence creates a space for your daughter to know herself and to be her best self. So if you're believing, I'm afraid I'm making it worse, the research would beg to differ. Is your presence and your daughter feeling connected to you will only enhance and strengthen her life. So first of all, it's not true that you go, I'd rather do nothing than do it wrong. So here's what I say to you as a dad from my heart to yours. But doing nothing is doing it wrong. So if you back up and go, you know what, I'm making it worse, Mom, you go in. You're a girl. You were a teenage girl once. You were 20 something once. You go in. Don't believe that lie. She needs you, even if it's sometimes pounding on your chest or disagreeing with you. Because if you want her to use her voice out in the world and say no, you want to let her practice using her voice at home and saying no to you. So I want to teach you a couple tricks of the trade, things I've learned in the trenches, not only 30 years as a clinician, but as a daughter, oldest of 4 daughters. Heaven always hasn't been easy with my dad. And also from walking alongside men and hearing their stories and that kind of thing. So dad, but I know you want to do it right. That's what men tell me over and I want to do it right. I just don't know what to do. So when you say, I'm afraid I'm going to say it wrong, that's why I wrote this second book. So that dad, let your teenage daughter pick a topic. So I've lead her to laugh, lead her to love herself and others, lead her to look. So this is kind of if your car isn't working and a light comes on the dashboard, you don't get out a hammer and go, I hate lights. You pull off, you lift up the hood and look at the wiring. So the looking is looking at some of the harder things. Like I said, it could be cyberbullying or sexting or same-sex attraction, which sadly, I didn't get enough of that in here, but I've written on my website, drmichellewatson.com. I've got lots of free resources there where you can ask your daughter questions, and I've written them out. I even have this handout. This is like a 2-pager each side. This is a free PDF on my website to go with the book. If you don't want to buy the book, you can get this. Got lots of free resources. So you can learn to initiate and lead. That's why I call it lead her to blank, because I want dads to lead and step up and have no excuse. Like, well, I didn't know what to say. I'm like, I'm going to give you the words. I'm going to give you the script so that you can be the hero your daughter needs you to be. And then, like I said, sometimes when it gets tense, you can look down at the next question going, this eye contact thing's about doing me in. But then I have lead her to lament so that you can ask her about the friend she lost. Or you may go, she lost that dog 2 years ago. I didn't even know she was still sad about that. But you can ask her the questions because I put them right there. Or it could be over a family falling apart or divorce or an affair or a job loss or a guy or a female relationship that she's lost. And then the last one is lead her to listen. You know, we live in technology and a lot of dads are like, I can't get her off her phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even going to try compete with that with social media. I'm like, try me, prove me wrong. The more you initiate contact with her, and here's the other thing that I think dads struggle with is not only the anger thing, but you want me to tell you the other thing? And this came to my mind right when you asked me that question, Dr. Jan, is listening. A lot of dads are really good at lecture.
Yes.
And you mean well. You're like, I want her to not.
And not listening.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want her to make the same mistake I did. But I once had a dad in the group say, in the Abba Project, when I learned to listen better, I realized the question I was going to answer wasn't actually the question she just asked me. But the longer I listened, the more it got clarified. And so this last one is questions she can ask you, like, Dad, tell me something you learned the hard way that no one ever taught you. Tell me about one of the most stupid things you've ever done. But here's the deal, Dad. You get to tell her what you learned. I mean, why are so many in our generation watching like Fantasy Island or The Bachelor, Bachelorette or Real Housewives? I'm like, that is so not real. But
Right.
often it's, I want to see a disaster worse than my own.
Yeah.
But there's not the redemptive part, the lesson learned part. So, Dad, again, it's age appropriate and that kind of thing. But the more you can open up to your daughter, you get to hand her the book and go, here, you ask me these questions, and you get to not only see her develop a skill set and learning to do interpersonal relating and asking questions, but then here's the thing. We as women figure things out by talking. That's how we figure things out. So sometimes if you can be a better listener, 2 ears, 1 mouth, listen twice as much as you talk,
Right.
you're going to draw her out. And am I talking too much, Dr. Jan? Is this too long without a break, or can I give dads one more practical
Go
thing here?
ahead.
I'm like, fire hose. You can tell I'm like, Dad, I got you for a few minutes. I want to give you everything I got so you can do this well. And I also have it in Spanish on Amazon. But here's a really practical way, Dad, where you may go, yeah, okay, so listen. Yeah, I was a couple exits back on the freeway. She just talked my ear off. I'm so lost. I don't even know. You're saying ask her questions. I'm so lost in what she just said. I'm at a loss here. I'm like, a couple tools I got for your tool belt or toolbox. I got a fathering toolbox. I could have gotten it out today. I got a big red fathering toolbox. But really the truth is, Dad, if you just add, like if you have a daughter maybe that doesn't talk or that talks too much.
Yeah.
And I don't mean too much in
Yeah.
the big scheme, but maybe too much for you.
Yeah.
One idea is to use the 2 words, I'm wondering, in front of a question you ask her. So I had a guy in the Abba Project named Andy, 4 sons, fire chief, all male, all the time. In fact, one of the times in the group, his phone, he forgot to turn the ringer off. Here's what we heard. And somebody goes, well, I didn't do a good job, but he goes, is that an elk call? And the guy goes, that was his ringtone. I mean, in fact, one of the guys goes, we should get him a t-shirt that says terminally male. I mean, the guy and he has a youngest daughter, Megan, 17 years old, skips school all the time, not connected at all to Dad. So he comes to the group and he goes, what do you got for me? And I go, try putting I'm wondering in front of the questions. Just watch. Come back and report next month. So he goes home and he used to go, Megan, why didn't you go to school today? He goes, the claws came out or the wall went up. So he goes, okay, I'm wondering. So he goes home. Hey, Megan, I'm wondering, why didn't you go to school today? Same question. I'm wondering.
Okay.
She literally started telling him, well, actually, I did go to school, but we had an early release and then my friends came over and that's it. And he was like, I don't even know why that worked. I said, I do. Your tone changed.
Mm-hmm.
And she heard you asking her a question, not an inquisition,
Mm-hmm.
ready to attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's like, what? Like, how did I not know this? I'm like, well, I'm teaching you tricks of the trade on my planet. Like, this is going to help you. I'm wondering. Another one that another dad taught me is he says, tell me more. Like, so say that, in fact, Dr. Jan, let's you and me act it out. So let's pretend I'm the dad.
Okay.
You're 7th grade. We haven't rehearsed this. I pick you up from school and I say, how'd your day? 7th grade. How was school today?
It's okay.
So on Mars, you go, oh, good. It was okay. You go home and Mom says, how was her day? And you go, it was okay. She said it was okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the wife goes, that was a non-answer answer.
Right.
On Venus. But you as men, bless your hearts. I get that on Mars, this is how you talk, where you say, if she wanted to tell me more,
she would have told me. Right.
She would have told me. Yeah,
But
exactly.
Right. But you didn't ask.
Not on our planet. We say, if you cared more, What?
Yeah, you would have asked what that meant. Okay, wait a minute. I gotta get this text in. It says, looking back over your life, is there anything that you wish that your father would have done?
This is a beautiful segue into what I'm telling you right now because I
Okay.
only realized after I wrote this in 20 that I wish my dad would have asked more questions because I run really deep and I got lots of words. I was the kid that was in the hallway because my report cards always said Michelle talks too much. And so my dad would be like, "Oh, good. You had a good day." And I'm like, "I got so much more in here." But I can tell my dad doesn't want to listen anymore. I can tell he's tuned out. But yet so many of us can go, "Wow, my dad can sure watch a game for 3-4 hours and not run out of energy." But I talk for 2 minutes and he shut me off. So
We only got maybe about 10 more minutes, but I have a question right quick. Um, do you find in your practice that dads have come to you that might have abused their daughters and trying to get back into a positive relationship with their daughters? For some reason, who knows, they found God or whatever. Do
mhm.
you ever have any of those men in your group or come to you?
Sadly, I don't have enough of them come to me. I
Okay.
have, but it's rare
Okay.
because it's very hard for a dad to admit that he
Okay.
crossed lines sexually.
Okay.
And so, like, for me, with my abuse, my grandfather had died when I was 8.
Okay.
Like, to this day, he also abused his own kids. He never came to them. And so, sadly, it doesn't happen enough. But I can tell you stories, though, because sometimes I've been working with the daughter where the dad, not usually the
Okay.
dad coming, but
Okay.
I've had daughters where you go, how do you rebuild a bombed out bridge?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you're a dad listening that's crossed a line, or you're a daughter listening whose dad crossed the line sexually,
Hmm.
can there be repair for a rupture? Absolutely. But it starts with admitting what has happened because the truth is all that will set you free. And if you keep defending or denying or minimizing, like, oh, it was only one time, or oh, it was only a couple times, or it could have been worse, you can't start there. And
Okay.
your daughter won't feel safe with you, most likely, without someone with her. And if you've crossed a line, say, tell me how I hurt you when I abused, or that kind of thing. It may need to start in writing because she doesn't feel safe with you in
Okay.
person because you violated her trust. But if you want to rebuild that, start in a way. It may be phone, it may be distance, it may be at a restaurant where she has an ally, something where you're not the two of you alone again. It's two of it's you violated her, and you not to rebuild trust can happen. But you're going to say, tell me how I hurt you when I did this. I want to know how I've caused you harm. And you're repentant and you're humble and
Okay.
you come with a stance of humility. Is I've seen beautiful healing happen, and a dad can initiate that, absolutely, maybe in writing, like I said, and start a dialogue, because even like in my example that I was going to give you about the car, is if a dad can learn, like if you say, how was your day? Good.
Hmm.
Is say, what about it was good? Use the key word that she just said in the sentence, or if she talks really long, take the last word. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Remember, we learned that in school.
No.
What about your day was good? How did you have a good day? Where was the highlight of your day? So if you've abused your daughter, or you're a daughter that was abused by her dad, and you're a dad that goes, I don't even know how to start a conversation.
Hmm. Hmm.
Tell me how I hurt you when I did that.
Hmm.
How could I begin to repair our relationship?
Hmm.
What impact has that had on you? I want to hear all of it. Is those kinds of questions are practical, right? For a dad to keep pursuing his daughter's heart, even if there's been harm or
Okay.
betrayal.
We only got about 5 minutes, and I want them to see your books. Here's the the most of the books you wrote. Dad, here's what I really need from you. And then let's talk conversation starters for dads and
And
daughters.
I love that you have the audio, Dr. Jan, because both of them are in audio.
Okay, and they're on Amazon, people. They're on Amazon. And she collabed with another book, and we don't really have that much time to talk about that. We only got what?
Yeah, this
3
just
minutes?
came out this last week. In fact, I was just at the book launch where 40 women each wrote one story that they feel like God wrote for them in heaven. And it's all kinds of topics. And so mine is called Better Than Hallmark. And that's what I called my story with Ken about God arranging it and just waiting for the one that my friends all said, yep, we know God told us you're going to marry him. Like, if you're not sure about a guy, listen to your friends and your family, because we all want each other married. We want the romance. But listen, am I right? Listen to the people around you. They'll know if
Yes.
he's good or
I
not.
just told someone that the other day. If all your friends are saying no, maybe you better think twice. Dr. Michelle, it's gone by so
I know.
quickly.
I know I fire hosed you dads, but I'm like, okay, if you're going to listen, we're going to pack it in so you leave with action steps, because Dr. Jan and I believe in you as men and as dads, and we're championing you. And in case you haven't heard it anywhere else, just know we're cheering you on. We believe in you. We tell you make a difference. And that's why on the Dad Whisperer podcast, I always say, on market, set, go. Here's your go step.
Yes. So when does your podcast come on? When can we watch it?
So it is on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, on all of those. So you can go to my website, drmichellewatson.com, which you have right there. And I've got like 253, and actually I think I'm close to 300. So
Okay.
episodes on all different topics. They're available 24/7 on those streaming platforms. And you can go to my website where it's there too.
Wow. Dr. Michelle, this has been just so, great. And you've got to come back, because I want to talk about, what can daughters do when they don't have a dad, or they grew up without a dad, because you have really shown us how important dads are in a girl's life, and so some of you dads who are out there and maybe you're separated, divorced, uh, you know, get in contact with your daughters and communicate and do the things that Dr. Michelle has talked about, or go to her website, www.drmichellewatson. Is it Michelle Watson Canfield? I don't have
No,
it.
either one will go to it, but usually it's just Dr.
You know what?
MichelleWatson.com.
If you Google Dr. Michelle Watson Canfield, you can get all of her information. But I just want to thank you so much. You have really, you've been informative, inspirational, and motivational. And ladies, wives, mothers, you know what? If they weren't watching, if your husbands, your fathers, your grandfathers weren't watching, have them to watch this, or have them to get in contact with Dr. Michelle. Dr. Michelle, thank you so much. It's been a plum-pleasing pleasure.
Well, I adore you already. Everyone that listens to you is so blessed to have you share your wisdom. So thank you for letting me partner with you here.
So you have a beautiful, blessed rest of your evening.
You too, my friend. Thank you.
All right. Good night. Bye-bye. Wow, this has been wonderful. She just made me think about so many things, and I do want to talk to her, have her back and talk about fathers who, for some reason, are not in the same home with their daughters, and how they feel that they, can't communicate with them or anything. And because I think that would be wonderful. So now, before we go, I just wanted to show you my books. They are all on Amazon.com, in the Kindle version and hard copy version. The Little Book of Big Behavior Interventions for teachers who are having some behavior issues with their kids. And the secrets to how not to throw mama from the train, all about how to navigate the challenges in the adult daughter aging mother relationship. Harness the power is all about, it's different entrepreneur women mostly that just tell you their story. And my chapter is the introductory chapter, all about leadership and communication in the workplace. And my life, my story. If you really want to know more about me, got to get that. My life, my story. So I want to thank all of you for coming, for watching, for listening, the ones who are on Spotify and the other Audible channels. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I want you to remember there are all kinds of relationships, all kinds of relationship matters. Life is about relationships. Oh, I don't think I'll be here next Thursday. I forgot that I won't be here because my husband's brother passed. And I think, and so far, tentatively, the funeral is on the 23rd, which would be my next show. So pray for me, pray for my family, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Have a beautiful, blessed morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Bye bye.